So the time is now 12:40, officially marking the end of the third day of this little solo trip of mine. So to pick up where I left off yesterday was covering the book Models by Mark Manson, and I had touched bases with how one of the suggestions or one of the practices that was suggested in the book was to identify your values and your morals. So with that part out of the way, I wanted to use tonight to talk about another key thing that Mark mentions in his book. And that the key point that he mentioned was a sense of vulnerability. So as I've said before in the previous videos, and as I've said before many times now, part of the reason why I have no problem explaining, hey, you know, quick little script put together, not the best at cinematography, X, Y, so on and so forth, is speaking for myself. What kind of helps me with watching these videos is seeing someone who practiced this without a sense of perfection. It really helps me because I see, hey, this person isn't being absolute perfect at it. And, you know, yet it still turns out well. Obviously, in my sense, this is new to me, and there's tons of things that I'm experiencing and learning along the way. So with that being said, perfection is not needed to get started. If you spend all your time focusing on getting it right and getting it put together the way it needs to be, you're gonna waste more time focusing on that instead of doing what you need to do, which walks me into a sense of vulnerability. You're exposing yourself to something that you might consider uncomfortable. You're exposing yourself to people to see, the real you. Obviously, if I wanted to make actual skits, videos, so on and so forth, I will put more time into writing a script, memorizing it, shooting the scenes, all the extra stuff. But that's not really the point of this video. This video is more to say, really can't really think of the right word for it yet. Extra research, but a video diary in a sense to explain my journey on this self-development trip, as well as, some really crappy or good B-roll videos that you guys can watch in the middle of this explanation. So back onto the topic at hand, vulnerability, and why is it important? So one of the reasons why being able to practice a sense of vulnerability or expressing your true self is you can kind of figure out who truly accepts you for you. I'm pretty sure in my previous video I had mentioned that as well, identifying your morals and your values and having no shame in who you are as a person. Again, be smart about it, use social awareness, don't do anything stupid and claim this is just me. And by practicing vulnerability, you start to realize, hey, at the end of the day, it's not really that bad. It's not perfect. People aren't, it's not as scary as I made it out to be who I really am, to make myself vulnerable, to show people my true self. It's really not. So that's part of the main reason why I say, hey, I got a little script right here, because it's also, mainly it's for me. This is extra practice to me to express myself, to show, yeah, this is me doing me. It might not work. You can see my, recording device. I used to be so anxious about making sure it's hidden. But then again, if it's a script, of course I want that to be hidden. I just feel like that takes away the video if it's supposed to be a short skit. Anyway, running off topic here again, as normal, which leads me to the examples of how I've practiced it, which has been from this video, and also from a few other things. One being my friends. We all laugh at each other. We all make jokes about each other. Um, and one of the ways I've practiced vulnerability in a good way, with just between me and my friends, is joking along with things I'm used to be insecure about or mildly insecure about, mainly. One being I have relatively small calves. I'm not gonna go all the extra work to turn the camera around because your boy's feet kind of looking kind of anyway. But you know, going along and joking around with things that I used to be insecure about or things I would be worried about being judged about. When you choose to express yourself, when you choose to take hold of these things that you might find embarrassing and place them out there and give yourself a sense of vulnerability, you're not really, at least the way I interpret that type of action is, I'm taking that power away from whoever it is that might be trying to use it against me. Example A, yo, you got small calves, you got chicken legs. Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, tell me something I don't know. Hell, I'll throw a couple of jokes at myself. Like, one of the things my friend says, like chopstick legs. These are like as small as chopsticks. There's chopsticks bigger than what my calves are. And it's all for fun and games. And if somebody makes fun about it, I mean, you really can't say too much more about it if I'm already like, yeah, it's true. I mean, I've pointed it out myself. I mean, I can't really walk away from that because, I mean, I've said it myself, so you're going to continue to make jokes about things I already make jokes about anyway. So in this case, we can joke about it together, or we can joke about it together, or I could be by myself. So another example that is mentioned in a variety of material, whether it's some of the YouTube videos I've seen, the book, models, is to place yourself into a sense of vulnerability that's slightly more challenging than the last. And it doesn't have to be something like, making jokes about something you might be insecure about. It could be something as simple as placing yourself out there to ask for directions. And after you've done that, challenge yourself to do something even more difficult than that. So the next step might be asking somebody, how's their weekend going? Any big weekend plans, And after that, in this case for me today, I went and checked out Niagara Falls for the very first time. Wonderful view. I would highly recommend it if you haven't seen it already. If you've seen it already, you should go back and see it again and keep going back. But, say you go to an area where you want to get a scenery shot and it's just you and yourself. You've already taken the step to ask for directions. You've already taken the step to ask somebody how their day is going or how their weekend is going. So when you face this new situation of, it's just me, how can I get this perfect shot if it's just me? Well, if I look at these previous examples, I realized that it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And when I was younger, I used to be very nervous and just ask somebody for directions. Like I would literally walk around for hours on end, and not hours on end, because even then that's a lot of time. I walk around for minutes and minutes and minutes trying to find something, find a product, find directions, when all I had to do was just walk over to a person. And mind you, like I said, morals, values, positivity. If someone isn't giving me the time of day, they're being rude, I'm not gonna really worry about it because I'm focused on getting the help I need. So walk up to that person that will give me the help, I'll find somebody who can. But at the same time, I'm placing myself out there. I'm getting myself used to the exposure, the sense of vulnerability. And I use vulnerability is because that's how he refers to it in the book. So back to this example at hand. I've already asked for directions the weekend. Who's to say this is also gonna be a bad situation to just, hey, can you take a picture of the falls for me? Somebody might say no, somebody might give you the stink eye, but remember, we're not worried about those type of people who aren't going to help us out and get to where we need to be. I'm looking for people who are willing to just, do something as simple and kind as helping the person take a photo. Everybody does it. Okay, not everybody does it, but there's a decent amount of people, a lot more than I think some people who are struggling with a sense of shyness or nervousness or anxiety to talk to people, that there's a lot of people out there who are actually kind. They're not out to get people. They're not out to make fun of people. They see, oh, he's asking me for a picture. Yeah, I'll help him out. And once you go ahead and do that, you can continue to progress further and further and further along. So again, practice a sense of vulnerability. This can be placing yourself out there to ask for directions. This could be making jokes about things that you might find yourself to be insecure about. This could be expressing what you like, what type of music you like. I remember back in high school before, or even middle school before anime became popular. Now everybody likes anime. Everybody likes anime. Praise it up and down. But before then, I used to be shy to say, yeah, I watch Naruto, I watch Dragon Ball Z, I watch Inuyasha, Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood's the best one. And now at the age of 26, I'm even more expressive than ever to say, yeah, I watch One Piece. You know, I'm episode 517, started from 1 and I'm already at 517 and still going. No, yeah, I like rock, I like hip hop, I like EDM, I like indie music, etc., because I'm choosing to express myself for who I am, and I've identified what type of people I want in my life, and that saves me from wasting my time with people who don't align with it, or people who are going to use these things against me. Now, disclaimer. Still be careful with who and what you tell it to, who you tell it to and what you tell it to. I'm not sitting there saying go out and tell your darkest, deepest secrets to anybody, everybody. If you want to, by all means, go ahead. If you don't care, go ahead. But, you know, that's just something that you learn as you go. Who's here to help me, who's not here to help me. And at the same time, you can dial it back and just, you know, do something basic, you know? And even then, if it's with your friends and colleagues, so you do feel like, you know, you can trust them and that they're not going to judge you as much, but you're still a little worried about putting yourself out there, you know, take that step. Because you're never going to know what's going to happen until you actually do it. And the only way to do it is to, well, do it. So this recording is going on about 12 minutes and counting now. So after today, drove 4 hours out to see Niagara Falls, woke up early, 6 o'clock in the morning. Another sense of vulnerability. I keep looking to the left because I'm not used to staring directly into the camera. It's kind of weird talking to yourself. I guess in a sense you're not talking to yourself since you're aiming to have an audience. Then if you don't have an audience, you just talk to yourself. Questions for another day. But again, part of the main reasons to practice this sense of vulnerability is to get used to exposing yourself. If you're used to exposing yourself, if you're used to placing yourself out there for other people to potentially judge you, you can reflect on the things that you've done or the things that you've said, the things you went out and asked for. And you can remind yourself, hey, I've, you know, asked 20 people for directions already. Why is it's not that difficult for me to do that? I've asked people to help take pictures if they could. So why am I so nervous about expressing that I like anime? You know, I've put myself out there to ask for directions. Nobody judged me. Let's take the next step with the anime. I put myself out there and express, you know, whether it's colleagues, friends, or whatever, I like anime, so on and so forth. Oh, they judge me for it. Okay, part of the reason why I'm putting myself out there is to figure out who vibes with me, who aligns themselves with what I want. And by doing that, I realize this person isn't for me. This person is actually out to get me. This person is sole purpose is to make me suffer or whatever the heck you can think of. So with that identification, why worry about what they have to say? You've already identified their role. You already identified what their mission is. It's something small and petty to make fun of you. My voice is shivering a little bit because I'm sitting right next to my fan. I like sleeping with a fan on because, yeah. So to wrap this all up, take that step, whether it's simply asking for directions, expressing what type of music you like, what type of anime you like, if you do like anime, what type of novelties you like to read, or things you like to collect, and just express yourself for who you really are. And hopefully over time, you'll begin to realize that certain things aren't as scary or intimidating as you may make them out to be. And back to the whole YouTube thing, if anybody else is looking to start their own career, just do it. Standing and waiting and contemplating and trying to put the perfect video together, you're going to waste more time, in my opinion, looking on how to make perfection than putting the video together and then learning along the way. So one example, I decided to watch a YouTube video when I should have a long time ago on how to use this open camera app because I kept having the exposure fluctuation. Figured out I could lock the exposure. So there's that. So I think I'm going to end the video with this. The face tracking is doing an amazing job because of my large nose. Wow, this thing is just... So anyway, Models by Mark Manson, highly recommended. Go out there, express yourself a little bit within reason. Come on, guys. Social awareness, respect, all those fun things, and hopefully this puts you on the right path to... I'm gonna call it a wraps since I have to get up in the morning. Make sure I don't forget anything out in Ohio, anything out in Ohio, because that's a 5-hour drive back that I don't want to do just to pick up a cell phone or something like that. So that's the end of this video.